Welcome to North Campus Impact, where we look at students, faculty, and staff that are making a difference. Today, we actually have one of our student organizations, and we're going to start off with the advisor of the organization. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Joshua Arjona. I am a member of the staff here at Admissions and Registration, and I'm also the advisor for Minorities of the Future, which everyone calls MOF.
MOF. And so your roots here actually come a lot longer than just an advisor. You were a student at Miami-Dade College.
Yes.
So tell us the timeline.
Yes. Okay. So, wow. I guess I'm dating myself here.
We don't gotta say years,
okay.
because you'd be dating me. So let's not do that.
Right. So I started as a SGA senator. When I had aspirations of doing some e-board work, found the e-board, and they were doing some great things. So I had an opportunity to be the executive director. Then also I jumped into briefly the vice president position, and then did the whole election thing and got the president position. So I've done a little bit of the e-board work, and once I got through with that, I said I took a break from it because there was so much in that time. So I was like, let me not continue to do this. I want to just live life as a regular student. So then I came back to work in the testing department. I worked in the testing department part-time, and then I got lucky and got a full-time position at Admissions and Registration, and at which time they asked me to be an advisor of a group. And I said, well, I ran from it for a little while. Right. I said, no, I don't want to do this right now because I knew how much it takes to do that. But then, Mr. Murphy, Miguel Murphy from Advisement said, you know what, it's your time. So I said, okay, I said yes. And I got, together with this great group, and it's been about almost 5 years now that we've been working with the Minorities of the Future. So.
And what was that one thing that, like, you said, okay, someone's obviously pushing you, but that you've said internally, I'm ready for this?
I found that there was a need. And in finding that need, I wanted someone to do it the right way. I wanted somebody to do it selflessly, without not being selfish, and also to care about the students' production and, of course, graduation. So I said, you know what, I can lend myself to that, and I know that I'll do it wholeheartedly. So I said, hey, I'm ready. I got to that place in my life where I said I'm ready to do it and jump right in.
What are some of the things that, as being part of student government, that you think you've kind of captured and learned from that now is helping you be the advisor to this organization?
The understanding of how the Constitution works, and that it's the bylaws that we govern ourselves by. So, and it also gives us structure. So understanding that, I was able to incorporate that into this group and give them the foundation that they needed to continue on. Because the reason why student government has been a long-lasting organization is because they have that strong foundation in their constitution and bylaws. So I wanted to impart that into this group. And I think that's what's going to help us be here for the next 5 years, maybe 10 years, hopefully.
What are some of the responsibilities? We always say advisor, but what are some of the responsibilities that you have?
As an advisor, I think the biggest responsibility that I really like to impart in other people, just in case they're interested in being an advisor, is to know when to stay out of the way. Gotcha. When you're advising, a lot of times we feel like we have to grab them. But I've learned, especially with this group, that you have to allow them to be adults, because we figure because we're older than them that they're children, but they're not.
We're gonna baby them every step of the way because we don't want them to make those mistakes. Right.
But I've learned that if we treat them as adults and understand when. Now, of course, as an advisor, my job is predominantly to give them advice and to tell them, look, this would be the best course of action. But I also have learned to stay out the way. Let them go through some things, and even sometimes when they're going to make a mistake and you know it, you feel like you want to stop them from doing it. Right. But I'm learning to let them go ahead and do it, and then it's a teachable moment. So
it's kind of like the father of the group. So knowing when to step away and when to say no, I need to kind of be in the middle of that.
Exactly.
How did the organization start? Once you were ready to take on this role, were they students ready and willing to do it, or did you have to go and recruit?
Funny enough, we recruited. We started in Building 3. We put together little pamphlets and with informational, little cards, and we passed them out. We passed out 200.
Wow. We
got back 200, and the very next week there was one person in the meeting. So
learning lesson for an advisor.
Right. Learning lesson for an advisor. And what that taught us was that as older older folks or older gentlemen, it's going to be very hard for us to draw the students. We learned at that point that it was going to be the students that were going to draw all the members. So what we did was we focused our next big event on working with students directly. And that's how we got to where we are now. We told the students, look, we're going to give you the tools that you need to be successful. We just need you to let everybody else know about that.
Right.
So once they got the ball rolling, it was just a matter of, getting rooms for them to be in, giving them structure and telling them, hey, this is the way that you would go.
And what are some of the things that you feel you've taken away? Because obviously you make an impact as an advisor, but obviously the students make an impact on you. What are some of those impacts that they've made on your life?
Most importantly, they have taught me that you can accept a lot of things. And the reason I say that is because I come from a generation where we had our groups, and that's the folks that we hung out with. But this group right here, this new generation doesn't do that. This new generation, they take everybody in.
They're all about networking and finding
Right.
and connecting groups together, not just being in silos.
Right. So they're bringing us everybody, and then it also taught me that I'm able to deal with a lot of different types of people. When I was coming up, I felt that I was okay with a certain type of folks. 'Cause I'm a musician, so being a musician, I hung out with people who were into music or maybe the industry and stuff like that. But now I'm able to talk to music majors as well as psychology majors and biology majors, and it taught me to be able to just expand my view of networking.
And there is an advisement component to all of this. And so you're also becoming an advisor,
Right.
a mentor, and someone that really tries to get the student on track and make sure that they don't follow just their passion while at Miami-Dade College.
Exactly, because one thing that it was very big, and I tell them all the time, nothing that we do matters unless they graduate.
Right.
So it's pushed me to tell them now, hey, are you going to class? Hey, how are you doing in class?
Right.
And then we have to, there's certain times that we're telling them, we have study nights open for them, which I'm sure the guys will talk about later. But, just to get them and to give them the tools that they need to succeed academically.
And we do remember that as when we were students here. And so coming up next, we'll have the students as part of the organization. We'll talk a little bit about them and what their careers are. Stay tuned.
Three, two.
Be focused. Be original. Be a trendsetter. Be an explorer. Be the solution. Be visionary. Be a hero. Be the answer. Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
Welcome back. We're actually here with the president of the organization, and so I want to give an opportunity for him to introduce himself as well as your pathway.
Thank you. My name is Trevaris Coleman, and my pathway is psychology here at Miami-Dade College North Campus, and I also hold as the president of the Minorities of the Future, which is an organization built to both nurture and enhance the growth, development, and opportunity for young minority males in both a social and academic environment.
And that's awesome, because I think that a lot of times in organizations, especially at the North Campus, we have a mix of students. And although, as your advisor previously said, you guys kind of network all the way around, you're an organization really have a certain mission. As a president, what are some of your duties?
So as the president, what I do, I oversee the e-board. I don't look at myself as the face of the organization by any means. We all are the face. We all have duties that we need to follow through with. And I think that's what's most important about this brotherhood, is that we all own up to our responsibilities and we take care of them so that our organization runs smoothly.
How did you find that you were going to be so passionate about this organization and about being a student leader?
Okay, so a little backstory. In high school, the person that you see before you now is nothing compared to where I was in high school. I was a very antisocial individual. Now, getting into college, I took a SLS course with Jaime Anzalora, who is actually now the dean over at the Wilson campus.
And actually, he's probably like my first or second boss that I've had when he was the student life director here. So yes.
Oh wow, look at that. So actually, that course there is actually what helped me with the breakout stage. You know, with giving presentations, talking to different individuals. Like now, I feel comfortable talking to anyone about anything. So with that, I took that and ran with it. You know, I began to, well, before that, my brother, Trevaris, he actually introduced me to the organization.
Okay.
I came in and I saw something very familiar. You know, different guys that look like me, black and brown brothers, and they were dressed up. So right off the back, I was intrigued. I was like, wow, what is this?
And they out all dressed up.
Right. They had a PowerPoint. They had different things that they were doing. So I was like, wow, this is really nice. So after the meeting, I introduced myself to the president at the time, Mr. Kenneth Andrews, who is the founding president of the organization. And, you know, he was a very welcoming guy, and everything just flowed naturally. And over time, I actually ran for vice president. I won vice president, so I was overwhelmed. I was like, wow.
Here's a shy boy
who
had no aspirations to be a student leader. All of a sudden, you're a VP. So what do you do at that point that you're vice president with no experience prior to that?
No experience at all. So what I did, and when running for this position, you know, I had no idea what it entailed, but I was willing to learn, you know, and I think that was the most important thing, that I was willing to learn and adapt to anything that was given to me. And I was, you know, led by my brother, who was actually the president at the time.
Wow.
Right. So it planned out because we're in the same household. So there's always communication at all times. So it really planned out well. And I think we did some amazing things.
So talk about, what are some of the amazing things that you've done?
So one thing I can say, starting off as president of the organization, was our candlelight vigil. I think at the time, you know, it was a very dark stage in which there were, you know, fatalities between, you know, the police officers and, you know, young males. And that moment where I saw the turnout, there were a lot of people there, you know, individuals that work here, individuals from the community that came out, and it was amazing. We really had the support and people backing us, and that really meant a lot. And after we really got together, we were like, wow, like, this is what we can really make happen. You know, when we come together and put our minds together, like, we can really make a sound on this campus to hopefully become one of the premier clubs.
Now, when you obviously, it's very scary to try to head on target something like this, because, you know, we have disciplines that may be on the outside of the field, and then we have students who can relate to a certain side. How do you feel that you can make connections with both, and that the North Campus is an open space?
And I think that's what matters the most to me about being here at Miami-Dade College North Campus is it's a very intimate setting. You know, I have conversations with the president, the dean, Ms. Evelyn Rodriguez.
Right.
You know, like, it's really, really personal, and it means a lot because it's something that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. You know, making these connections, you know, networking. It really is a strong trait that you really would need to have while being in college if you want to succeed.
What are some, we talk a little bit about what you learn outside of the classroom. What are some of the things that you've been able to apply that you've learned inside of the classroom? So inside of the classroom,
for one, networking. That actually played a big part. So while in class, there may be a topic at hand that you really didn't catch, you know? So what I do is I link up with my classmates. Like, hey, I don't understand this. I don't know if you do, but if not, we can understand it together. You know, we can make it happen. You know, we can meet up on campus. Anything that, you know, we all have the same goal. It's graduating.
Right.
And no matter how you look at it, it's graduating. So it's very important that we come together as students, as a community, and make these things happen to hopefully make this world a better place.
What's in the future for the organization?
Well, many things, hopefully. Numbers. That's one thing that we really have a main focus on right now is numbers.
Building a community within you all.
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully have numbers like the 5,000 role models one day. And we actually have done a lot of things with them as well.
Okay.
But yeah, the numbers is big. It's big. Hopefully
Because you want to build a family within
Yes.
itself, so that when you have an event, it's more family focused. And obviously,
Correct.
you and being part of that family, you've got a different dynamic. It's not just you going to an event, you're going to an event with people that you know. So
Right.
you're not worried so much about connections, you're more worried about understanding what's going on and relating. What are some of the things that you all relate as college students, as males in an organization? What are some of the things that you find relatable?
Well, you have different individuals in the club that come from different neighborhoods, no matter what. But we actually come together at a common ground, education, trying to better ourselves better than we were yesterday, every single day. And I think that's what means the most to me, when I find like-minded individuals that are trying to elevate themselves, elevate their families, their friends, things like that is what really, hits home with me.
And that's great. And so thank you so much for being with us. And when we come back, we're going to interview one more student as part of the student organization. We'll see you when we get back.
Be creative. Be a hero. Be the solution. Be connected. Be innovative. Be global. Be successful. Be you. Be MDC. Be Miami-Dade College.
Welcome back as we look at students who are making a difference here at the college as well as our community. And so we have Mario, our founding as part of the organization. Please tell me, how did you start the organization?
Actually, when we started off the organization, it was Kenneth Andrews and Andre Williams. They were the president and the vice president at the time, and they were looking for a member to be a treasurer. I was never a part of a leadership position, so I thought, let me try and see what I could provide for the organization at the time. And so I became the treasurer. The treasurer as far as dealing with budgeting, providing food for the study nights that we had, for any outings and events as well.
And so never having really gone in a role as a student leader in that capacity, what are some of the things that you learned in the process of becoming a leader?
The process would be having patience, because you're dealing with the advisor, you're dealing with your other e-board members, and you're also dealing with the general members as well. So it could get very frustrating because you have to answer to 3 different entities, and also you have to remember that you're still a student on the campus as well.
And so there's that school balance, student organization. So while you're now a graduate from Miami-Dade College, when you were here, what was your pathway?
My pathway here would be general engineering.
General engineering.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
And so that's very different than some of the other guests that we've had on the show, because most of them have done psychology or education or some form of. How do you connect your pathway to the stuff that you're doing as a co-curricular?
And being a part of the as an engineer major, you will have to think logically, and you have to have sound plans and organization as far as how to execute your decisions. So let's say, for example, we have the candlelight vigil, for example. We have to think logically, okay, what can we do as far as students goes without, let's say, for example,
Discriminating or leaving anyone out.
Yes.
But still covering the issues that obviously students want to cover.
Yes.
And so how did you feel? And did you feel nervous in trying to put that together? Did you feel that, this is the first time that maybe it's really been done?
Actually, I wasn't nervous, because I feel as if it was about time that students actually take the lead in something of this magnitude. And so why wait for employees at a campus when us students, being students of Miami-Dade College, and show support for the community and show the community that we're here as well.
And what are some of the things that you learned from that first experience in doing your first really outside event where it really could also be an open discussion about, you know, how different people feel? How did you feel that the students reacted?
The students reacted positively. For example, they found praise in it. They found a reason to actually be on campus and be active because they saw that they could take a lead. They could also affect the campus in their image. And so
it is a kind of like a test and run, but it was, and I know because you know, we definitely had, I think as employees of the college, we were kind of like, okay, we're going to let our students do this. But as your advisor mentioned in the first session, it really is a lot of watching you all and kind of stepping back and saying, okay, I'm going to let them do this.
And that's the thing. The advisors letting us, you know, have some free reign in making these events. You could get lost because we're so dependent on our advisors that we don't know what to do ourselves. But with this event, we actually got together as an organization. We used to pull late nights during our board meetings. We used to meet during the weekends to see how we could execute something like this for the community. And all in all, I was actually very happy, very proud of this event, being our first event.
Absolutely. And so what are the other types of events that you've had that you're also proud of that were kind of like life lessons, things that you've learned?
For example, maybe wouldn't be considered an event, but I would say study nights, because without our education, everything we're doing means nothing. If we're not able to graduate, what's the purpose of having this organization? Whose one of its main purpose is for us to graduate and succeed in our communities.
Absolutely. And so when you look at this, obviously it's a lot easier when you're a community and you kind of depend on each other. How is it for those that are just coming in? You know, you have been part of this organization as a proud founder. You've now transitioned over to a university. How do you feel you've set the path that anyone who comes into this community still feels welcome?
Well, the whole main purpose of this organization is to bring anybody who feels the need to be a part of the organization to make a difference in their communities, whether it could be our black and our brown brothers, it could be anybody. The whole main purpose of the organization is to come together as in a community, succeed, graduate, and bring back into the community, as some of our founding members and our other ex-members have done so in the past.
And now, as you've transitioned over and are going to start at a university, what are some of the things that you will always remember about Miami-Dade College?
Some of the things I would remember from Miami-Dade College is all the wonderful opportunities and resources and the people that I've met throughout my whole lives, whether it'll be Susan Guillaume, Miguel Murphy, Mr. Carlton Daly, Joshua Arjona, President Harrison, Dean Perez, just to name a few. All of them, they can all have my thanks.
And when you look at focused also on professors, what are some of the professors that you kind of, you know, depended on and kind of leaned on as you were here at the college?
Some of the professors, I don't remember most of them off the top of my head, but I could honestly say that each professor that I've had always taught me something new, and something new about the curriculum, something new about life, and something new about me. For example, let's say I'm procrastinating a lot, but there's a professor who would sit down with me and tell me, this is what you're doing wrong, I need you to do this. So then deep down, while I'm studying, I would think about it, and I would actually praise the professor in my mind because they're showing me who I am an individual and what they expect from me. And expectation is always important for anybody.
So inside the classroom, outside of the classroom, making connections, learning. You've graduated really quickly as we close. What was your feeling on graduation day as you were walking through that stage? Because we really don't talk a lot about it.
I was actually very happy. Honestly, when my first semester, when I came here, I was I didn't know how to feel about graduation. I didn't expect to graduate on time, but when I did, when I walked on stage and I saw my fellow MOF brothers there volunteering and my other MOF brothers graduating alongside me, I felt very happy. I felt very proud that I achieved something that many in the community do not, and maybe I could be a light post to those who wants to strive to graduate as well.
You're a success story, and so congratulations for being a success story. And thank you for tuning in, and tune us next time as we really highlight faculty, staff at the North Campus, as well as students that are making a difference in the community. See you next time.